In the year 356 AD, deep in the Egyptian desert, an elderly man was about to face his greatest spiritual test. Saint Anthony of the Desert had devoted his entire life to prayer and penance, but that night, something different was coming. A brilliant light appeared before him. Majestic, angelic, irresistible. But Saint Anthony did something unexpected. He rejected it. Why? To unravel this ancient mystery, we need to dive into Christianity's oldest texts and uncover secrets that few people know. Our investigation begins with a disturbing question: what do the scriptures themselves say about this possibility? To understand this mystery, we need to go back to the 1st century AD. The Apostle Paul, writing to the Corinthians, made a shocking revelation. Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. This wasn't a metaphor. Paul was warning about a real, tangible danger. In Galatians, he goes even further: even if an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to what we preached, let him be accursed. What kind of experience would have led the apostle to make such a statement? Context is everything. Early Christianity was under siege. Roman persecutions, Gnostic heresies, false prophets. In this chaotic landscape, how do you separate truth from lies? The answer would come from an unlikely place, the Egyptian desert. And from a man who would dedicate his life to cracking this spiritual code. Saint Anthony of the Desert wasn't an ordinary man. Born in 251 to a wealthy Christian family, he did something radical at age 20. He sold everything he owned and headed for the desert. But why would someone voluntarily choose a life of isolation and deprivation? Anthony was seeking something civilization couldn't offer: absolute spiritual purity. But the desert held its own dangers, and not all of them were physical. The early years were marked by brutal temptations. According to the life of Saint Anthony, written by Saint Athanasius, the young hermit faced apparitions of demons in the forms of wild animals, seductive women, Roman soldiers. But it was in the year 356, at 105 years old, that Anthony faced his ultimate test. The life of Saint Anthony records the moment with frightening detail. A light appeared before him, brighter than the midday sun. The figure was majestic, with radiant wings and robes of immaculate purity. Its voice was melodious as a heavenly harp. Any normal person would have fallen down in worship. But Saint Anthony did something extraordinary. He questioned the apparition. How did he know? What signs revealed the true nature of that entity? The answers to these questions are preserved not just in ancient texts, but also in the art these events inspired. To understand the magnitude of this spiritual confrontation, we need to analyze how the great masters of painting interpreted these events. Every brushstroke reveals details that texts don't capture. Hieronymus Bosch, in 1501, created one of the most disturbing representations ever made. Look at the details: creatures that appear angelic at first glance, but reveal claws when examined closely. Bosch knew the original texts. Every element in his work has meaning: the false light that confuses, the transforming shapes, the symbols of spiritual discernment. Matthias Grünewald, Bosch's contemporary, offers a different perspective. In his Isenheim altarpiece, Saint Anthony appears not as a victim, but as an experienced spiritual warrior. Notice the symbols: the cross as an anchor of truth, the staff as spiritual authority, the book representing knowledge of Scripture. Grünewald is showing us the weapons that Saint Anthony used for discernment. But there's something fascinating about the evolution of this iconography. The earliest representations, in Byzantine icons, show Anthony at peace, serene. Later Western paintings are much more dramatic, violent. This evolution reflects a change in understanding spiritual confrontation. But to find the most specific details about these demonic disguises, we need to consult sources that are less orthodox. Our investigation now takes us into dangerous territory. Texts that the Church would have preferred remain forgotten. 1577, Basel. The physician Johann Weyer publishes a work that would shake the foundations of medieval demonology, the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, the false monarchy of demons. Weyer wasn't an occultist. He was a respected physician, a devout Protestant, who had studied cases of possession for decades. His work was, paradoxically, an attempt to protect innocent people from witchcraft accusations. But what makes the Pseudomonarchia relevant to our investigation are the specific details about demonic disguises. Weyer methodically catalogs how different entities present themselves as figures of light. Lucifer, according to Weyer, appears specifically as an angel of extreme beauty before revealing his true nature. Paimon appears as a crowned man mounted on a camel, preceded by a host of spirits in angelic form. Weyer explains the psychology behind this tactic. Spiritual pride is the most effective gateway to the soul's perdition. A demon with horns and claws would be immediately rejected, but an angel offering special knowledge, exclusive revelations, this seduces human vanity. The 4th century, St. Anthony's era, was a period of radical transformation. Christianity was becoming the official religion of the Roman Empire. Ancient spiritual certainties were being questioned. In this context of confusion, the criteria developed by St. Anthony were practical tools for navigating turbulent waters. The criteria developed by St. Anthony: humility versus pride, peace versus agitation, confirmation of fundamental truths versus contradiction, remain surprisingly relevant. Perhaps the deepest wisdom of these traditions isn't about literal angels and demons, but about our human capacity for self-deception, and about the tools we need to see clearly. Saint Anthony of the Desert wasn't just a medieval hermit facing mystical visions. He was a human being like us, struggling to distinguish truth from lies in a confusing world. The battle between true and false light continues. In every generation, in every human soul. And the weapons for this battle remain the same. See you on the next journey. Bye.